Hey everyone, it's Pastor Phil here again. And I just wanted to say that, again, it's a bummer that we don't get to see each other this Sunday, but because of the gift of technology that God has given to us, we can still worship together. And so this time I made another video, but I included the We Believe song that we were going to do for Easter. And then I also am going to send a worksheet along with this video that you can fill out and you can go over with your parents. And so, I hope to see you soon, and I'll be praying for you guys, okay?
Practice along so that you can be all ready for Easter Sunday.
We believe Jesus is the Son of God. We believe He came to save us on the cross, and there's a need for all the world to know His love. We believe that His love is big enough, and I want you to know Him. I want you to love Him like I do, and to know how much He loves you too. We believe Jesus is the Son of God. We believe He came to save us on the cross, and there's a need for all the world to know His love. We believe that His love is big enough. We believe that His love is big enough.
Great job.
So, the story goes like this. There was a man, and this man had two sons. He had an older son, which you see on the left, and he had a younger son, which you see on the right. And this younger son was a really mean son. He says to his father, "Father, I just want my share of the inheritance. I just want to take my money and leave this place. I don't want to obey you anymore. I don't want to be part of this family anymore. I want to leave." And so, even though the father didn't have to, he splits up his land and he gives his son his inheritance. And so the son, he takes his money and he leaves to a distant country. And he starts to spend the money on so many things that he doesn't need. And after a while of spending all that money and wasting all that money, he realizes that he has no more money. And at the same time, a famine strikes in that country. And so he has no more money and there's no more food in the whole land. And so, because he has no money and because he has no food, he needs to find a job. But the only job he could find is feeding pigs. And nobody would give him any food. And so this younger son was so hungry that he dreamed about eating the same food that he was feeding to the pigs. And so this younger son realizes how much he messed up. He realizes how good his father has been to him, and he realizes that he needs to go home. And so the son, he knows he needs to go home now. He knows that the best place for him is to be with his father again. But he also knows that he was so bad to his father, he was so mean and so unfair to his father, that he's unworthy to be his father's son now. And so he thinks of ways on how he's going to ask for forgiveness for his father. And he says something like this. He says that he's going to tell his father, Father, I am so unworthy of being your son now, but at least let me be your servant, one of your servants. And so when he got close to home, his father sees him from a distance and runs to him and embraces him, hugs him and kisses him and welcomes him home. And so this father is so happy that his son is home that he gives him a new robe, new sandals, a new ring, and makes the best food for this party, for this celebration that his younger son is home again. But remember, in the beginning, this story has two sons. And there was the older son who stayed with his father and was obedient to his father. But when he heard that his younger brother had come home and that his father was throwing a celebration for that son, he was super mad. He was super upset. He was so mad that he wouldn't even go into the home and celebrate with his brother and his father. But then the father goes out to the older son. He goes out of the house, out of the celebration. He goes to the older son, and he asks the son what's wrong. And the son gets so angry at his father. He says, how come I, who've been so obedient to you, and I've been slaving away, he says he's been slaving away to the father, how come I don't get any celebration, but your younger son, my little brother, who was so mean to you and so unfair to you, how come he gets a celebration? But then the father says something really important in this moment. He says, my son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So what is Jesus trying to teach us with this parable? Well, Jesus is saying that sometimes we think like the younger brother. He's saying that sometimes we tell God, I don't want to obey you anymore. We reject God and say, I want to do my own thing and go my own way. But Jesus is saying that if we realize how much we need God and we go to Him in forgiveness for rejecting Him and disobeying Him, God will embrace us and He will forgive us the same way the Father embraced and forgave His Son, His younger son. And then Jesus is also saying that sometimes we act and we think like the older brother. Sometimes we think that because we go to church and we do all the good things and all the nice things, that we deserve to be with the Father, and that we deserve an inheritance, and we deserve the Father's love. And sometimes we think that because other people don't go to church as much, or they don't do nice things all the time, or because we think that we are doing better than them, we think that they don't deserve to be part of God's family too. But Jesus is trying to say that no, you don't earn being the Father's son. You don't earn being welcomed into the Father's home. We are welcomed into the Father's home because that is who the Father is. God is a forgiving Father, He's a loving Father, and He embraces everyone who comes to Him in humility. And so, God doesn't invite you to His home because of what you do, and because of you do this, and this right. but He invites you to His home because that is the loving Father that He is. God is a gracious and loving Father who welcomes all of us home.